Video not sponsored. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel and my ongoing adventure to review every movie that Robin Williams has ever been in. This week brings us to his technically third film role, his second leading role, 1982's The World According to Garp, based off the novel, directed by George Roy Hill, who you might know as the director of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Also starring Mary Beth Hurt, John Lithgow, and Glenn Close in her very first film. Like I said last week, this was Robin's first venture into Oscar territory. Not for him, though. Glenn Close and John Lithgow were both nominated for their roles in this film, and Robin wasn't. And we'll talk about maybe why and what I think about that. The movie stars Robin Williams as T.S. Garp, the bastard son of a radical feminist author. They're both authors. And the story is, I can't call it a story, it's just like it's like bits and pieces of their lives, but there's not like a through line, really. For a little bit of background and history on the film, the novel came out about 4 years before the movie and was considered largely unadaptable to film, probably because the story is not a traditional story. Robin read the book while he was on set shooting Popeye, and he was very, very excited about the role. It was his first chance to really play a human being with human emotions that wasn't like a big cartoonish caricature. This also, I forgot to mention this in the Popeye review, so this is a little bit of a redux, but The World According to Garp continues a trend that began with Popeye and we'll see continue as well, where Robin is picking up roles that Dustin Hoffman didn't want. So Dustin Hoffman was originally supposed to be the star of Popeye. He dropped. He was also approached about Garp. He didn't want to do it. Christopher Reeve was also in talks to play Garp, which if you don't know, Robin and Christopher Reeve went to Juilliard together and they were best friends. And in between Popeye and Garp, another one of Robin's very good friends, John Belushi, comedy legend, passed away. Robin was actually in his apartment with him on the night that he died, not while it happened, but before, which is just something interesting to mention, I guess. Like I said earlier, this is Glenn Close's first film role. She plays Robin's mother, despite being only 4 years older than him. And despite the movie also covering probably about 40 years of time, she never looks different. She doesn't age. They try to give her a little wrinkle, but it's not how old she would be. No one ages in this movie. The director initially had no interest in casting Robin until they met face to face because he thought he was not going to be able to handle a dramatic role like this. Even still, the director was very tight about improvising. He would not let Robin do any improv on the set. He called cut on a take the first time that Robin tried it, and Robin was like, oh shit. Also, you know how I said last week that this is Robin's first sex scene in a film? Not really. You don't see anything except another lady's boobies, and it's like kind of implied that she goes down on him, I guess. But he was quoted on his sex scene as saying, "It's like 17 lights and 15 guys and a boom mic almost up your ass." Which, isn't that just great? Robin was waxed to play the younger version of Garp, like a full body wax, which is funny. And here's your sad Robin Williams fact for this video, because we always have to have a sad one. The film's opening and closing credits are bookended with the song When I'm 64 by the Beatles, and Robin passed away when he was 63. So, let's just get into what I thought of it. It's good. It's definitely the best out of the three that I've seen so far. All the performances are solid. Obviously there were 2 Oscar nominations that came out of it. I think everyone does a good job. The movie begins with Garp's mother having him as an infant, and then in the next scene he's like 3, and then in the next scene he's like 10. And this just keeps happening. Like, children will age, or children will appear, or just, there's no indication of how much time has passed, how long these people have known each other, what age they are really at all. In one scene, Garp says, "I'm 30, but an undistinguished amount of time has passed both before and after that. I have no idea how long he knew his partner. I have no idea how old his mother was supposed to be when she had him, or how old she's supposed to be the whole time. You have no idea how old the kids are. That's just where I struggled, because I couldn't I was not sure at any point where this was going to go and how many years of just irrelevance we were going to skip. And I don't want to say that nothing happens in the story, because obviously things happen. Things don't happen in a way that tells a satisfying story, in my opinion. But I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not. I would give this movie like a solid C++. C++ is what I would say. The characters are also, they are fleshed out to some extent, but there's times when I loved them and there's times when I hated them, which I guess is good. I mean, that's like a sign of a strong character, maybe? I really don't know. The film also, it caused a great stir of controversy, both the novel and the movie when it came out. It was very ahead of its time. Glenn Close's character is a very radical feminist, and the sexual ethics of how she conceived Garp are very, very yikes, then and now. I won't get into that, but if you've seen the movie or if you plan to see it, you'll find out about that. There's a lot of reverse gender roles, with the husbands being stay-at-homes, a lot of women power, and a transgender character, which for the early 80s was probably like insane. Robin looks the same through the whole movie. So does everyone else. The only way I could tell that anyone was aging or that there's any passage of time was if the wife had a different haircut, or if there was a child that was suddenly older. I keep sounding like I'm hating on this. I'm really not. I just don't... I don't know how to wrap this up in a bow and talk about it, because it's just so... As a narrative, it's so all over the place, and I guess that's where I feel my brain is at, too. I'm gonna jump real quick into some spoiler territory as well, so, you know, if you don't want to hear about that, skip forward a little bit. But... God, do I fucking hate narratives that normalize straight people cheating on each other and that being like a stronghold of their relationship and just certifying how strong they are. I hate it. I hate it. I also hate when somebody cheats first and then the other one cheats and the first one gets angry. I guess what you could say is the climax of the film. Garp cheats on his wife with a babysitter, like an 18-year-old babysitter, which is gross. And then she cheats on him with one of her students, which is another thing that I hate. I hate student-teacher relationships in film. Don't stream a teacher on Hulu, I guess. I'm not going to. You probably shouldn't either. I hate that shit. It's disgusting. The student's car is in the driveway, and the wife is blowing him, and Robin's character zooms down the hill in his car, and it's raining, and he tailbones the car, and kills one of his sons. And I guess you would say that's the climax of the movie. A bunch of different people die. Like, a lot of the main characters die or get injured in very close sequence to each other in the last, like, 25 minutes. That's what I'm saying. I'm struggling to say what the climax even was, or if there was one, just because of the way that the narrative of this was. And I can see, I could see more and more, even without reading the book, why people said it was unadaptable. So many of these characters, I just wanted to like so bad. Especially John Lithgow's character, the trans woman in the, female sanctuary that the mother begins to have. The character just appeared, and I think they really were banking on us just liking her because she was different. And that works to some extent, but other than that, there wasn't really anything to her. And yet he still got an Oscar nomination for this and Robin didn't. Let's just talk really quick about the crazy bitch named Pooh, who keeps derailing the story. Like, every time something is happening to Garp, she is somehow there, and she keeps barging in. She's the one who shoots him and kills him, but she grew up with him. It's so weird. That is so bizarre to me. I think after I did a little bit of research, apparently it's an omitted detail from the book where this girl's sister died, and she's somehow convinced that Garp killed her, so that's why she kills Garp. But in the movie, it just makes it seem like she is insane and just shoots him for no reason, which I guess. Reviews were generally favorable. Obviously, there were 2 Oscar nominations. Some critics, though, really did not like Robin as a dramatic actor. One critic was quoted as saying, "I won't say a thing about the rubbery nature of Robin Williams' face other than this. It is so hard to watch in the dramatic close-ups that it spoiled for me a movie I would have otherwise placed among the year's best." Which I think is interesting, because a lot of the critics' reviews were like, this is good, but I'm confused. And this person is like, I would have loved this movie if Robin Williams was not the star, which I think is very bizarre, because it's not that different from his other dramatic performances. It's still very heartfelt, and he's still very good. And I think that if you were going to nominate John Lithgow and Glenn Close for their performances, which are just about the same level as Robin's, then he probably should have been nominated too. Granted, I don't think any of these performances are mind-blowing or really even that. I mean, none of them won, but I mean, they're not performances that are really going to stick with me forever. I'm not going to think about this when I wake up tomorrow. And I know that he was like a little bit pissed that this also was not like his huge big break into massive real actor stardom. And you know, I would be too. I would be too, to be honest with you. I mean, if that's where we're going to set the bar, then they should have nominated him. He was good. He wasn't amazing. I mean, it's not, I don't know, dude. I can't keep saying what it is and what it isn't. I don't even know what points I'm really trying to make. I guess, to wrap it all up, The World According to Garp is, it's worth a watch. It's a decent story. It's got decent characters in it. I just don't think that it's really anything all that special. If you're interested in watching it, it is available to rent, purchase only. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, on Prime, YouTube, or iTunes. And coming up, not this coming week, since I'll be skipping for Thanksgiving week, but the week after, we will be talking about the shit show comedy that is The Survivors with Walter Matthau. I'm really not looking forward to it, but hopefully you guys are, so I'll see you there.